Hello everybody, welcome to Go Terra Odyssey. Today is going to be about what new revelation is going to come your way, what new understanding about yourself, the world around you, the people that you mix with, the vocation you've chosen, all of this, like what's really going to pop and make you have a greater understanding. And also, how do you feel? You know, all these things were buzzing through my mind before I started, and Spirit was mentioning things like, do you feel included or do you feel excluded? Do you feel powerful or do you feel powerless? And can you identify where these happen in home, at work, at school? Do you feel judged, or do you feel like wherever you subside is a judgment-free zone? Do you feel a lot of affection or a lack of affection around you, and in what environments, and how can that be identified and changed, right? Are there any recent conversations or something that took place where you felt like you couldn't be wholly honest, and can you identify why that might have been? Is there somebody doing something, you know, in your life that has an addiction or something where you're wearing kid gloves and you feel like you're having a hard time addressing it? Things like that. Or did you feel like you couldn't say something because you thought you'd be judged? That type of thing. Do you ever feel like the bad guy in a situation because you're setting boundaries, things like that? Do you feel free? Do you feel trapped? Do you feel connected? Do you feel disconnected? All of these. And identify, do you ever feel manipulated or controlled? This is time to identify so we can break these patterns. And on any given day, I feel a whole spectrum of these things. Every once in a while, especially if we have kids, we know what it feels like when they try to manipulate us. They turn on that charm and they're extra nice and helpful, usually because they want something. I'm really lucky that usually my kids, if they see me doing something, they do pitch in and they ask. If they see me doing the garbage, they'll go get the garbage. If they see me, you know, doing the cat litter, they pretend they don't see that because they hate that. But, you know, feeding the animals, things like that, they really contribute. And it's nice to feel like people are doing it of their own volition and we're not trying to you know, manipulate them ourselves. You know, you ever do that passive aggressive, oh, my back, or oh. And I used to be terrible at the poor me's. Like if I was doing everything or thought or perceived I was doing everything, then you get loud about it. You ever have, remember when your mother was like, oh, that's all right, I don't mind doing the dishes, vacuuming, cleaning, feeding all the animals, everything, right? And try to like guilt trip you into helping. And I find I have less sympathy for people the more they squawk about their ailments or whatever, right? It gets old. Okay, so here's our three choices. We have Tree of Souls, collective wisdom, kinship, group, and library. Number 2 is the Tree of Illumination, truth, revelations, and understanding. And number 3 is Spirit of Spring, freedom, action, and power. And that's always a nice feeling to have, isn't it? Freedom, like where we can do, be, and say anything we want at any time. Okay, and if you guys are curious, I'm wearing these rings again. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I have another aquamarine and I'll put it in the store. It's a size 8, and then I have a labradorite new ring that just came out beautiful, so I'll put them in there because you guys always ask after, so I wanted to answer before. I love all of these, so I'm going to let you make your choice, and I'm going to have a deep breath and slow down and choose some nice cards. Wow, I do see my cat trying to get up to things over there. Okay, so we have number 1. We're going to choose some cards right here and see what's going on. And choose 2 of these. I love this deck so much. I find it so beautiful. And you know, we're really going to be able to identify where we're feeling stuff, especially if we feel unheard or we feel blamed or we feel uncared for. It's very important in our lives to speak up because we can take these things in and it's almost like poisoning ourselves, right? Without speaking up or saying this. I'll often say and speak up to Ian if I feel dismissed or something. He can be so in the zone as a Capricorn that he can tune out me even like speaking. And I'll ask him something, and although it'll be important to me, if he doesn't really feel like it's important, sometimes he can just be very dismissive of that. And right away, you know, with my boundaries, I say, you know, you would not like if I responded to you like that. You know, it's very disrespectful. This is a concern I have, whether it's for my business, children, or whatever, you know, and you have to call people out that do that, because what happens is we let them create a pattern by not doing that. So you're going to be really careful with that, because you're going to have these beautiful new kinship groups that are coming in. I love it's kind of like the Akashic Library. You're calling in these beings that are going to help you and spiritually and mentally on your path. Now you also have the celestial assistance, angel messages, guidance, enlightenment. You're for sure going to have all kinds of synchronistic numbers, 1111, 222s, 555s, all over the place. Electrical surges within your house, birds, animals, ladybugs, lizards, everything just popping out all over the place. And you'll probably see one animal or a symbol of an animal over and over as well. And, it's a good feeling. It's very reassuring. So you'll have those sanctuary, healing, comfort, faith, and restoration. Your faith and your abilities and mankind and people in general are going to be restored, where you feel like you can speak up. You're not going to feel manipulated. You're going to feel like there's a fairness and a love around. You're no longer going to feel like the bad guy because you have to stand up for what's important to you, right? Now, the Five of Gabriel talks about a challenge that you can resolve. Withdraw from the drama of others. Have patience with yourself and those around you. I find sometimes when we're just caught up in the whirling dervish of a lot of people in a social thing, people are always talking about one another. They can't help it. It's human nature. But when it's not high vibration, or it's not nice, or it's not helpful, it always comes back around to bite the person or people involved in this. So get away from that drama. Don't speak ill of others. This has to do at work and school, little dramas that are in things that are going to be little fire ups, and you're going to be able to have calm and better reasoning and feel connected better with not getting involved in this. Let other people, if they need to work out issues with one another, do this, because that's always unpredictable how somebody's going to react, right? And if we're just not involved, then we're not part of that deal. And I feel too, you're going to be able to mastermind something major at work or school where it's kind of been niggling at you going, well, I really want to ascertain how to do this best way, but a blueprint's going to pop up in your head. You're going to follow that very logically, systematically, and come up with the answers you need. So things aren't going to be so evasive anymore. They're really going to come and help you. And look at these fives. I feel like a lot of you guys have your soulmates coming in fives. When I get doubles and soulmate season is arriving, I feel like that's usually an indicator of this. So everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunity for happiness. Search for the silver lining. I do this every day. If I wake up and I really want to go for a walk or go outside and it's raining, I'm like, rain is absolutely relaxing to me. So I'm like, you can sit and listen with a meditative mind of the rain, right? And you don't feel so obligated to be outside, right? When it's really sunny, we feel guilty if we can't go outside. So we definitely want to do this. And 5 in most tarot decks is about some kind of conflict. So you're not going to have this inner conflict anymore that, oh, I need to do this or do that. You're going to be able to release all of that. Release regret. You can't say yes to everything, and nor would you want to, right? So I feel like you're going to have this beautiful visionary dreamer type existence, and you're going to be pulling in and manifesting all this good abundance, love, your soulmate, all of this greater understanding of what's really important in life for you. And that's your peace of mind, and you being able to go after creative projects calmly and not be rushed and not be judged and not have, that dynamic of people gossiping and causing problems around you as well. So beautiful. Yeah, you're floating above that. Your light's way too bright to even see that, because you have all this celestial assistance helping you in all of this angelic guidance in a really huge way. So I love that for you, Group 1. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. If you need a private read, my Etsy store, I have all my crystals, all my goodies down there. Go for it. So now we're into the Tree of Illumination, truth, revelations, understanding. This is you really getting to the gist of whatever is going on. If you've had any questions going on within your school, your family, your work, one of those things, a big revelation is going to take place where the truth comes out, or the truth of the matter is very apparent to you. So you're no longer second guessing somebody's motives or whatever. Everything is very crystalline and very clear. You're going to be able to see, oh, okay, people's intentions. It's kind of like the inner workings. You're going to be really savvy to that, because you're going to have high emotional intelligence. And you're going to be able to initiate some really cool stuff right now too, where you're not playing anymore. You're really focused, and you're like, I want good results. I want to be able to be proud of what I do and have it be, substantial, and really give it my all, and not rush through things. Because my best pieces of jewelry or whatever I do is where I take the time, I get an idea, I formulate, what are all the ingredients, what am I going to need, so on and so forth, design sketches, and then I get all happy, and then I create. And I like that when I'm listening to music. I don't like to ever try to rush anything when it comes to that, because what happens is people can cut corners, and I don't ever want anything that's inferior due to lack of time. I will simply extend the timeline if that's true. And that's why you're going to give yourself a lot of time too, so you don't feel rushed. Now you have the beautiful porcupine spirit, which means time for a beginner's mind. Now this lets us know that we can't go from novice to expert, that nobody is all of a sudden intermediary or, an expert. For beginning something, start with that. That means we don't know anything. I enter every conversation like this because everybody has something to share in the world that's their unique perspective, right? So I'm never gauge people of what they're saying is right or wrong. I see it from their perspective, and I love that because it colors and helps the way I observe and see things too. And when we have a beginner's mind, we're like that beautiful child where we love everything. We're excited about it. You ever have that person that you just met and you've gone out to dinner or at school, and it's like they're just a know-it-all? They're just constantly spewing facts, and it's like they don't care what you think about life or anything else. They just, it's very bizarre. But a beginner's mind asks questions. They're curious, right? And that's how we really get to the meat of the matter and the important things, especially spiritual matters. Now, we also have galactic guidance, so star family assistance and cooperation. You do have these beautiful entities around you helping you. And I remember one time getting Reiki, and I felt so happy when this woman, and I loved her so much. She actually it was like a sleeping bag built from amethyst, like crushed amethyst on the inside. And it was really heavy and warm, and it was so amazing. And I was never more relaxed physically and mentally than when I left her office. It was so beautiful. And she was saying, I see, two entities around you, two women. And she totally described my mother and my aunt, and I felt so wonderful. And I know that, and they're the ones that help me channel, and they're constantly with me. And it was just so wonderful to hear. And you have a lot of you guys, it's a mother and a grandmother, and some of you guys, it's an aunt. It's people that you feel their presence when you slow down and you ask for it. And a lot of times these entities want to keep us company and hang out, but they do need to be invited. We kind of need to ask them either verbally or in our mind, oh, Mom, come keep me company. How are you? What's going on? All of these things you can just have, inner dialogue with them. And it's really wonderful because there's a magic that happens when we have the perspective of we can exchange information with anyone who's passed on whenever we want, and they will come and they will assist us, and their energy is very protective and very loving, and we feel it almost immediately, right? I had like ice cold breath on the back of my neck this morning, and I was like, I got the killer chills. It was crazy. Then I find out my neighbor who's going to have a baby, it's going to be her second baby. Her birth date is like right one day away from my mother's birthday. Like her due date where they want to induce her is on the 21st. And I was thinking, what, that probably won't, if that didn't take for the first few hours, she could be born on my mother's birthday. And there's a whole bunch of strange things going along with that right now too. So I'm excited, and I want to do some cool ritual while I'm over in England and around all these magnificent ancient places on my mother's birthday as well. So yeah, you guys, you have this beautiful manifestation that's coming in, because mistrusting is, don't mistrust. You're going to be very generous with yourself, but don't mistrust that people have ulterior motives and just want you because you're giving them things, but this is about reciprocity. So as you're giving, also realize that the receiving will come back to you, and I always believe that when we're just giving from our heart and we're generous, it comes back to us in such epic, crazy ways. Like, because I'm able to make a lot of jewelry and have a lot of stones, and I work for, I'm an ambassador to Goddess, and I give their things away, and people, it's like I just hear their stories, or their children that have handled some of the things or seen the crystals or whatever. They send pictures of them in my jewelry. It's there's nothing more like wonderful than that exchange of energy and caring and love. It's amazing. And when we look for that, it's everywhere. Oh, I love this native Gabriel, because this is you being really confident now, enthusiastic, courageous, charismatic, people coming to you for answers. You bam, bam, you've got it, rapid fire answers, because you're confident in life. I'm trying to think of like one of my favorite characters that exist in like films. Like I love Fifth Element is probably one of my favorite movies. I just love that. I love that idea that like there is a person who's a fifth element and they're a conduit to a higher power, and they use all, they use earth and fire and air and water, and then they create this magic. And I just love when like she is looking at the computer A through Z and it's going through everything, and she comes to war and she starts to cry because she sees what war does to people. And it's like, bam, she just goes into action. It's like that sort of warrior spirit that it's like, listen, if you need me, I'm there. And some people just naturally can step into that and take control of a situation. You're going to be able to do that, whether with family, if you have teenagers or kids or people that you feel like are running roughshod, no more. You're going to have those boundaries and go, listen, that's enough of this. This is how we're doing things now. I am your parent, or whatever it is, or listen, I am your boss. We don't do or operate our business like this. Like, you're just going to stand up. You're going to have great passion for another cause that's coming up. I feel like a lot of you guys, you're an advocate for animals and a green, lower carbon footprint, all of this, and you're really going to take action. Domestic violence, a lot of you guys are like, enough of this. I really want to get the word out, and you're stepping into your power. You're finding your voice, and shazam, you're coming out like a super warrior queen or king here. Decision. Now with Archangel Jophiel, this is saying, release yourself from that which holds you back. Okay, what is it? Are you spending way too much time on social media? Are you spending way too much time on TV? What are you doing that's holding you back when you can be operating with your time parameters a lot more effectively? I have to gauge myself all the time. Being self-employed, I know that I can go off on crazy little tangents, and I'm like, no, you could alleviate so much tension and then have real good family time if you do this. So don't flake off and start. Mine is also just fake shopping. Like, I don't buy anything, but I go on and I browse everything and I put it in the basket, and then I don't get it. Like, it's weird, but again, I don't need any more stuff, and I know that. So, this way I'm not being held back by just a leakage of time. And you need to detox too. My other thing too is oftentimes like sugar and salt. I'll be like, oh, chips, num, 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 and go nuts and be like, oh, I don't feel so good because I don't need to be eating that. It's absolute garbage. But it's one of those things, don't buy it and have it in the house, and I have to remind myself that, right? Again, you're going to have this confidence, which kicks this lack of self-confidence right in the ass. Like, you're not going to say yes to people please. You're not going to have yourself inundated with things that you have to do for other people because you said yes because you didn't want them to have an attitude. Too bad. I've got other things to do. I've got to take care of domestic violence for the world. I got to take care of, ASPCA. I got to go see what is going on with these people that are trying to wear fur coats. Like, you're really stepping up for a cause, and it feels good. And that cause may just be yourself, your peace of mind, and your time, your priorities. You're making you a priority, which is beautiful, and that's important as well. So, beautiful energy, group 3. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. If you need a private read, if you want to come see me on Instagram at Sparkrist11, I do all my posts and my memes, and I have contests, and I love to interact with you guys over there because I love DMing. It's like, you can, when people win prizes, they can give me their address. It's not on blast. It's very hard to do in the regular comments. So come over and see me there, you guys, as well. So love and light.